According to the instructions of this, you turn it on, select your mode and then charge it. So we're doing it that way. True. Okay, we recently had a power cut. Now during the daytime it's not an issue. We can put the generator on. We've got a petrol generator and it powers everything we need it to. However, at night time we can't put it on. It's too noisy. It would disturb the neighbours, and the power went off. It was about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and it was out till about 1 o'clock in the morning, so we couldn't have run the generator in that time. Now it was absolutely fine for lighting. We have emergency lighting all over the house. Comes on if you walk in a room and the light's turned off, it'll come on anyway if it's at night time. The motion and light active, so lighting's fine, but we couldn't live without the CCTV. It's an assurance thing. It's for my mum more than me, to be honest. But she does like the assurance of being able to see all around the house all the time. She's nosy. So I've come up with a solution. I don't know if this will work. I've got a 130 amp hour leisure battery, and the CCTV draws about 10 amps, 4 cameras and the box. It should be 8 amps because everything's 2 amps, the box, and each individual camera is 2 amps. Should be 8 amps that it's drawing, but it's drawing 10. I've measured it on a power meter. Not sure why, but it's fine. It's around about where I was expecting it to be. At night time it goes up to about 16 or 17 amps because of course the infrared LEDs come on. Now this charger that I've got here, this is what I'm going to be using to charge the battery. That's a 15 amp charger. That should be fine because although in the daytime we'll be drawing 10 amps, so it's got 5 amps extra to top up, at night time when it's drawing 17 it's going to drain the battery down a little bit, but should be fine, shouldn't be too much, and we'll see what the actual ampage is when it's running off the battery, because as I say, it's drawing higher than the plugs are rated for at the moment. So there's that. During a power out as well, we'll plug the router into the battery, but normally that'll just run on its own. So if the power does go out, the internet goes off temporarily, and then I just plug it in and let it all reboot again. So it's an experiment. I don't know if this will work or not, but we'll have a try. Right, so this is the plan. Not really got much of one. I'm winging it as I go along. I've got a 6-way splitter, so 4 cameras, 1 box, and then, as I said before, when the power goes off, I'll put the modem on it, the router. It's kind of a modem and router, whatever. So I'm going to have to snip the end of this, then check for continuing, you know what I mean. It's centre positive, I've already checked that, and then connect that to the battery. So I'm going to do that with this plug wire. Can handle up to 30 amps, so that's absolutely fine. I may use these jumper leads to actually fix it to the points on the battery. I'll have to see how much room I've got though, because these are the jumper leads from the smart charger. Oh, I can actually put them in the back there. Well, I'll see how that goes. Like I say, I'm doing it as I'm planning it as I go along, which is no planning at all really, and we'll see how it goes. Right, so this is the 6-way splitter. I'm going to start by cutting this off. 2 very thin wires. I'm not sure they're appropriate for carrying the amount of ampage we're going to have, but never mind. And using all the correct tools, as you can see, very professional. Works though. And I'll work out, I'm hoping the red one's centre, but I'll do a test with the meter and just make sure which one's positive and which one's negative before we start to connect them up to the battery. So we've got centre lined up, which should be the positive, well, it is the positive, and then we'll test it on the red wire first. Yep, we've got continuous connection there. Just double check with the white. Nope. So the red is the positive and the centre pin. Right, I'm going to pre-tin the wires. I've put some heat shrink on already. Will you do me a favour, Mum?
Yes.
Pass me that wire. The one on top of the box, you like?
Huh?
Yeah. Cheers.
Pick a wire, any wire. There's only one more.
This is what I have all day.
You're not filming me.
I am filming.
No.
And now we'll solder up the incredibly thin wires. I'm not happy with these. And here comes the bloody cat. Unbelievable. Amber, that's lead. It's poisonous. Come on, out of the way. She sat on my soldering tray. Amber, you're a pain in the ass. No. Amber, stop. Right, stop. I don't like this wire at all, it's not very good. But we'll try it, see how it goes. We might have to change it. I've got the helping hands out to help. Let's put these together. Okay, so that's all wired up now. Check the connections, everything's good. Got the old shrink wrap on to stop any wires touching. I'm still concerned that this is very thin wire, so I'll keep an eye on that, and if necessary I'll chop all these and connect them up directly to that wire all in one. Don't want to do that, but we'll try it and see how it goes. So what I'm thinking for now, just to test it, clip these onto the battery with the battery charger leads, get the charger going on the battery, and then try switching it over and see if everything works. So we'll do that now. Okay, so I've connected them up to the battery, just holding them in place with the charging clamps. Charger's not turned on. I'm just going to make sure we've got a connection to the battery. So negative on there. Oh. would help if I turn the switch on. That's my safety switch, just in case it all starts melting. Okay, and 12.6 volts on the voltmeter. So the making connection, everything's good. I'll just show you on there. You know, this is hard. Need another pair of hands. Okay, 12.6. So these are all charged at 12.6 volts. Let's get them switched over to the CCTV and see if it all works. Okay, so shut this down. Can be powered off. We'll turn it off, connect it all up, and then turn it back on. Okay, we're all connected up. Let's power it on. And nothing. Right, looks like that wire isn't thick enough, because when everything's connected up, we're getting, connect that up, 0.1 amps, volts. So it's dropping across the wires there, and that can only be because that bloody wire going into the splitter, the 6-way splitter, is so thin. That's a pain in the arse, that is. Alright, let's see what I can do. Okay, we're back for round 2. This 8-way splitter, the wire's not thick enough there to carry the ampage. So, some terminal blocks, these are 30 amp, more than enough, and I've also got 10 of these 2.1mm jack plug, and I can put those into the terminal block. All 10 of those was about £2. That 6-way splitter lead that was really shit was about £3 something, and these are thick core wire, so I've no issues with those. They're only going to be carrying 2 amps each anyway, maximum, so really happy with that. I'm going to put these into, I'll see if I can get 6 of them into one terminal block. Okay, if I can, brilliant. If not, I'll just split it over 2. 6 is the maximum I'll need, so I'm happy with that. Interestingly, I thought they were solid core, but they're not. They've just been tinned on the end, so it's interesting. A bit thinner than I thought they were, but still should be fine. Okay, so I've just stripped the ends of all the wires, and I'll put the positives into one and the negatives into the other. Hopefully I'll be able to fit all of them in, and here comes the cat. Say hello. Brilliant. This is what I have to put up with. We need to put these in here, Amber. Are you helping? what's next? Eh? Right, managed to stuff them all in there and check for continuity. I actually managed to say that word this time. And this side, which will go to the battery, we're having brown for positive, because that's live, and blue for negative, because the other one's brown. Right, I'm just going to clip these onto the battery with these for now. And we'll just check that that is making connection. Centre positive. I don't know if you can see that. Right, okay, so centre positive, outside negative, 12.6. I'll check them all, make sure. 12.6.
12.6. 12.6. 12.6. 12.6.
Right, let's get them plugged in to the CCTV and make sure it actually works. I've got a power switch in the middle of it, so flick that to off so they're not live while I do this. Here we go. I've unplugged the two adapters that are normally plugged in. I don't know how well you can see this, but it's not important, I'm just plugging wires in. Okay, so all the cameras are connected to the battery and the main box. Okay, flip the switch on. And absolutely nothing again. This is getting very annoying. Right. Identified a problem. The positive wires come off. There we go. There we go. Right, the cameras are on the backup power, but the main box is plugged in. So the bloody wire had come off. It's only a temporary solution, that wire. But that's good. So if I shut this down again, unplug the mains and plug in straight from the battery. Here we go. The lights are on, it's loading. Yes. Right, so in principle that works. Now it should work while I've got the charger connected to it, and these are the leads from the charger here, and so I'll be able to hold those wires on with that. I'll change the wires on the battery though, make them a little bit longer, get that all set up and see how it goes, but we are now running totally from the battery. Takes a few seconds to boot up. When that didn't work then, I was thinking this is ridiculous. All the wire I've got on this is high enough gauge to take 12 volts at 10 amps or whatever. There it is, totally on the backup power now. Brilliant. Right, so now I'm just gonna put these wires on better, fixing them on with that as well, with the charger. Plug the charger in, so the charger will keep the leisure battery topped up. I may have that on a timer switch. I'll see how well. It's only taking 10 amps in the day, so I should be able to have it charging. Okay, so I'm going to have the charger connected up. According to the instructions of this, you turn it on, select your mode, and then charge it. So we're doing it that way. These connections, as I say, just temporary for now, until I get some terminal connectors. So we'll connect it to the battery. TL sparks. Okay, and that's saying it's charging up. 12 volts. 15 amps. Can do 24 volts as well at 10 amps. So it said there it's putting in 14.2 amps, 14.3 volts, 14.7 amps. Okay. And now with all that connected up, we'll turn the switch on for the CCTV. That's come on. The fan's going to be annoying, but as I say, I don't want to have it on all day. And we'll just let that run for a little bit. Now, I'm sure there's people dying to jump in the comments at the moment and say, oh, shouldn't charge a battery indoors and all this lot. I've got a gas meter tester. I have to do it outside to calibrate it first. I'll just turn it on and calibrate it. Okay, so I'm now going to monitor it. I've left the peel on for you, by the way. We'll do it live. Some people like that. So I'm going to monitor. It's hydrogen that you have to look out for on these. It gives off oxygen and hydrogen. We're fine with the oxygen. It's the hydrogen we're worried about. It's quite explosive, especially with bloody sparks like that when you're connected up. So I'll have this left on here monitoring and making sure the holes actually are at the sides of the batteries generally. I'm not sure which side will be hydrogen and which side will be oxygen, but I will monitor that and make sure there's no dangerous build-ups, and I'll just leave this running for a bit now and see how it goes. I'll keep you updated. Okay, I'm quite happy with the way this is working now. So I've got some decent 3-core wire. It won't focus, I'm sure. So I'm going to use that to go from the battery to the terminal blocks. Replace this old thin shitty wire, which is more than capable, but it's just old wire. It's just to prove the concept before I went all in. I'm going to strip these wires back a little bit more and get them together in a better order, solder them all, and then get them in there, because they're not exactly tight in there at the moment. It's not perfect. And put it all in basically as a permanent fixture now. So I'll get on with that. First order of business is to find a screwdriver that fits in there. There we go. Just going to strip these back a little bit now, so that I've got more to play with copper wise there, and solder them all together. So I'll get on with that. So I'm going to bundle them together, twist them all round, and they'll go in the slot much easier. I'm going to put a cable tie around there as well, just to hold them all in place. Okay, so I've got them all held together. I was hoping to do it neater than that, but sod it. I'll tin these up and then cut them down to the actual length I want them. It should hold them all in place, and get them into the terminal block, get the other wire into this end, bit thicker wire, and then go on to the next step. Got them in nicely, and we'll put this end in now. Beautiful. Very strong. Okay, we'll get the these wires back into the switch. Okay, we've got the wires into there. I've just cut the earth wire down, doesn't matter. And at this end, got the wires to go to either side of the terminals. Now, to fix it onto the terminals, I've got some terminal clamps, and that'll go onto the battery terminal, and then a couple of screws in there to hold the wires in there. Right, let's get on with it. Got the negative and the positive, they marked up. Not that it matters, but whatever. These do fit on absolutely perfectly. Pull that out a little bit. You can see they're made for this specific terminal of battery. Beautiful. Now these are made for obviously thick core wire like you get with the jump leads, but for the little we're carrying through, this will be enough. So brown live, and secure the wire on the positive terminal. Okay, we'll just test once again the polarity and the voltage is coming through. And flip the switch on. 12.73 volts. Perfect. Let's wire it up. Okay, so everything's wired up at the back. The old leads that go to the adapters are unplugged and the new leads are plugged in. I flip the switch and the lights are on. Yes, I'm covering up my QR code. And everything's working solely off the battery now, and I'll put the charger onto that. I'm going to put that on a timer plug, and I'll just have to monitor that over the next few days, leave it on for an hour, then off for an hour, and just see how much it goes up and down, and change it accordingly, because I don't want it on all the time. Okay, it's been running for about an hour now. I'll just have a quick check on the voltage of the battery. Probably get a spark. Nope. 12.56 volts. That's really good. So that is going to last quite a few hours on just battery power. But we're going to put the charger on now with it. So get ready for another big bloody spark coming off and huge explosion. And I'm going to put it on with a timer plug so that it's on for an hour, off for 2 hours. I'll try that first and just keep monitoring the voltage. Okay, so I've set the timer plug. Turns out you can't do it exactly for 1 hour on, 2 hours off equally throughout 24 hours. Doesn't divide. Don't matter. So we'll get it plugged in and we'll see how it goes. Here we go. Get ready for the big bloody sparks. I'll try not to jump like a girl this time. None. Well, that's weird. Anyway, we're off and running. So I'll monitor that. Put the gas meter on. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's been on charging for an hour, gone off on the timer plug, so we'll check the voltage. Let me put you on a stand. .7 volts, but it'll be off for 2 hours now and then back on, so we'll see how it goes with that. Okay, it's now been off for 2 hours. It's about to come back on. The charger, that is. Obviously the CCTVs on. So it's been off charge for 2 hours and we're back down to 12.6 volts. That's on night mode as well because it is now night. We're on black and white, so the Cctv is at full ampage that's going out. Now I am looking at this and I'm thinking of getting a DC to DC regulator just to go on the box, because obviously when it goes on charge that's putting in 14 point something volts, and I don't want 14 volts going into the box. It can handle it, but and into the cameras, but I don't want that, so I'm going to look at putting one of them on it, I think. But other than that, I'm pleased with this, it's working. I'll test it over a couple of days now, see how it goes, and I'll do a follow-up video if necessary. Okay, we've been running a few hours now, with it coming on for 1 hour and going out for 2, and we're let's have a look. So we've been on charge for an hour, about, what time is it now? About half an hour ago. So we've been running for half an hour without. 12.92. So I'm going to extend the time in between charges, and I'm happy with that because that's running at night time when it's got its maximum ampage coming out. But it's working really well. Okay, this is the final setup. I have had a problem with the modem being on the same plug as the high amp charger. Now the charger itself is pulling about 2.5 amps at max. Obviously that's at 240 volts, so it can put out the 12 volts 15 amps without pulling 15 amps from the wall. I've also remeasured the camera and the box, and my meter was set wrong. It was measuring in amps and I thought it was measuring in milliamps. So the whole system's pulling about, I don't know, less than an amp according to my my power plug. I don't know how accurate that is, but judging by the power drain on the battery, I'd say it's pretty spot on. Now I've got one problem. Extended another wire out here from the battery to be able to plug into the modem when it's down. It's the wrong size, so I'm going to have to get a different jack and just put that on there. That's not a problem though. We've got an old router somewhere. I'll just rip the wire off that and put that in. But other than that, it's all working absolutely perfect and very happy with it. A lot less wires down the back now, as you can see. Still a lot, but gotta be on it. So there we go. I'm happy with the final setup, and I'll do an update video if I change anything, if I find any problems. Probably will get a DC to DC converter just to save 14 volts going in anywhere, especially the router. I'm not sure about that. That seems very temperamental. Now I've got it running separate. It was running from that extension plug, and you can see there's one plug out there. I'm going to put that into the double plug up there, so that hopefully it doesn't interfere with that. If not, worst case scenario, I'll have to just run an extension cable. We've got a couple of plugs down there. I'll have to run an extension cable along just for the modem, and also I might just plug it directly into the battery permanently, and that should hopefully smooth out any power issues coming over the cable. So there it is, final result. I've got the timer plug set to coming on for 1 hour and off for 2, and that seems to go slightly higher in the day, slightly lower in the night, and seems to average out. If I take it middle of the day, or just before it's getting dark, it's on 12.6 volts, which is the whole starting point of this whole operation. So I'm very happy with it.